swear, cat, you and I are gonna go round and round. You want the bottle? I'll give you the bottle. Yeah, you better start running. Frickin' cat. Anyway, now that I've missed my cue for the intro. What's going on, guys? It is Cooper88, also known as Steve, and I, as always, have another unboxing and or review type video. And since I'm holding it in my hand, this is last year's Bento box. Which, or not last year's, but last month. I'm getting confused. I've got this, I've got a Nerd Block, and I've got the Marvel Collector Corps Civil War and the DC TV boxes, so I'm a little behind. I'm behind in general on a lot of stuff. I'm a very poor multitasker. So probably by the time that you guys see this, Civil War will be out on DVD. I'm calling it right now. But that I'll joke about that in the Civil War unboxing vid. But anyway, let's get to Comic Bento and last month or 2 months ago's theme, depending on when this video gets out. It may be 5 months back, but this is the Elements box. And this was a very interesting set because when you think of elements, guys, you think of fire, water, air, wind. Well, air is technically wind. Cat, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Yeah, you better hide. You know, you think of that, you think of all the basic elements of the earth. But this box was really interesting because it used the term elements in a very interesting way. Either it was part of the story, or it had to do with the character's powers. And I really didn't want to open this, but I figure at least for this video, I'm going to open it. It's always, that's always how it is. Mainly I haven't opened it because I am very far behind on reading books, guys. Like this tote is collapsing the other tote because I keep adding books to it, and I don't mean to. I also had a couple of autobiography books and a lot of other stuff that I actually got. I've actually been using, before I get into the unboxing stuff, I've actually been finding a couple of comic gigs here and there, and so shameless promotion, but I've been using Greg Pak and Fred Van Lean's Make Comics Like the Pros, which I love this book, and it's helped me so very much with my writing, alongside Stan Lee's How to Make Comics the Marvel Way, and Denny O'Neil's DC Comics Guide to Writing Comics. So I've been pretty busy. And also when I went to go see Civil War, I also had picked up Stan's amazing, fantastic, and incredible, marvelous memoir. And it was bargain bin, so I wouldn't have mind paying the full price, but sometimes you gotta get stuff while you can. Probably should have picked up an extra copy or two for one or two of my comic book loving coworkers, but I didn't think about it at the time. Probably should have. There was a lot going on that day, especially at the time of this thing. The Verizon, anti-corporate, strike. Also, as always, guys, in case I don't upload these right away, timestamp it. It is 9:15. 14:15. No, it's not 9:15. 13. Always get 13. I always get right in the teens. I always get very weirdly discombobulated, but it is close to 9:14. We'll just put it that way. It's close to 9:14, and it is Friday the 13th of pretty much 5/13 2016, whatever you want to call it. So we're good. It's Friday the 13th. Full moon's out. Everybody's acting crazy. I don't have my hockey mask and machete and my jiff jiff pop pop sound effects, but that's beside the point. I'm getting sidetracked and I'm eating up time. So let's get into the elements box. So let's see what the first novel that they brought out. I have to laugh because I got Daredevil season 1, and now the only one of all the Marvel season 1 books that I have not read yet, which is talking about elements, very much fits the elements theme, which is the First Family. The good old FF. The Fantastic Four. Also, this back cover is actually kind of funny. But yeah, dealing with the Fantastic Four. I'll have to read this later. So, and it's kind of cool because the FF actually do follow the elements theme. Ben being a giant rock creature representing Earth, Sue representing air with her invisibility and force fields, and Johnny representing fire. And Reed, I guess you could say Reed is kind of like water since his elasticity, free flow is kind of like water. So it makes sense. It's kind of cool. They followed the exact elemental theme. Now the next one is actually a comic Bento exclusive, which is called The 4 Points. And this is from Aspen Comics. It's the complete first volume. It's done by, and it's a Scott Liddell book, which take that however you will. So the Horsemen of the Apocalypse have pretty much come to destroy the world, like basically bring about the rapture. And this is very interesting because the 4 Points is actually a female-led book, and all 4 of these women possess abilities dealing with nature and or various abilities. So it's basically a book about four women from around the world, and each of them, or at least 3 of the 4, have elements tied to nature. One is air, one is fire, and one is water, and I'm presuming the other one is earth. So the 4 horsemen versus 4 women that control every major element, which I dig that. That's kind of cool. And it's actually a comic Bento exclusive, which makes that all the more interesting because I remember reading on Comic Bento that they said that they were going to start putting like certain exclusive books to their box, or like variant covers, etc., so forth. So this is actually kind of cool, so the complete first volume is an exclusive only to the Elements box from Comic Bento. So I may actually read this because I've been trying to look in beyond, because I'm an omni comic nerd, you guys, and I always like to look at different companies. This even more so is pushed by the fact of me being an aspiring creative. So, I dig this. And plus, the concept of that is too cool to pass up not reading. Now, the next one from Valiant, and I'm actually rather intrigued by this because this event was still going on, and now I actually have the comic event, or at least the full event, the full event of it, which is the Book of Death from Valiant. I've heard everybody who had collected all the single issues talk nothing but good things about, this very interesting and cool idea that the entire Valiant universe are pretty much gonna die. Like, if you haven't heard of Book of Death, which I'm still pretty new to the Valiant universe, or this reboot of the Valiant universe, so there's still a lot of stories that I'm catching up. Excuse me, sorry about that. There's still a lot of stories with these characters that I'm still trying to get caught up on. But basically, Book of Death is like their big comic event. It's kind of like Valiant's version of Darkest Night, if you will. Basically, there's this mystical group called the Geomancers, which they're basically the avatars of the Earth. They're kind of like Avatar from. They're kind of like the Avatar and or Aang from Last Airbender, except it's more on a geo level. Like, they are connected to the Earth itself. But the bad luck is that every Geomancer, every so many years, dies. So very few of them were left. So Book of Death is basically where the Book of the Geomancers has predicted the death of the entire Valiant universe. Like, all these characters and how they lived, the legends that they formed, and how they die. So the Eternal Warrior, or the Eternal Warrior, a man who has been immortal since, time began, almost. And a young girl, a little girl. I want to say, like, I think the book portrays her as being like 10. So a young girl who is the last of the Geomancers, the very, very last one, who can actually has foresight to see this future by reading the book. They're trying to stop every last one of their allies in the Valiant universe: Exo-Man of War, Ninjak, Bloodshot, Archer and Armstrong, etc. and so forth, from dying. So, like, basically, the Eternal Warrior is trying to convince all these characters from all these different books within the entirety of the Valiant universe, like, hey, you guys are going to die, and here's how. You need to not do this, this, and this, or you need to not kill this person, or not fight this person, etc., or so forth. And the characters are like, well, you can't control me, it's not preordained by fate. And unfortunately, only the young girl can read the Book of the Geomancers. So you're talking about all the characters basically being told, hey, this is when you die, and them going, well, I don't necessarily believe that. And so I'm intrigued to read that, because I've heard nothing but good things about the entire run. Plus, it's kind of weird that in the characters' deaths, I'm kind of like, okay, I want to kind of, like, get caught up, hopefully, a little bit on, like, certain tidbits that have happened throughout all the rest of the books. And the last one, guys, I'm actually kind of a little intrigued by the concept, which is a pseudo-alien invasion plot, which is called Surface Tension by Jay Gunn, and it is from Titan Comics. Basically, the concept is that 99% of humanity pretty much walked into the ocean and were completely dissolved. But when two people, completely blue, they're genetically rewritten, arrive on an island in the British Isles where the last 1% of humanity have been living out their existence. it throws the entire island into chaos because then it asks the question, what happened to humanity in this book? Why did 99% of them go to the ocean? Two, what is this alien mutant coral want with humanity? You know, alien stuff, and it's let me actually pull out the comic bento card because it'll make sense for me to read off like what Moose and the comic bento guys basically said for this. Okay, alien killers, mutated sea monsters, humanity's last gasp. Months after a mysterious coral drew 99% of humanity into the sea, a band of survivors ekes out a hollow existence on a remote British island. When two people wash up on shore, completely blue but very much alive, the island is thrown into turmoil. What caused the mass extinction event? How did these two return from the deep when billions died? And most importantly, what is the coral and what does it want with the earth? So it's kind of like The Happening a little bit. Like basically, I'm gonna go. Here's my theory before when I read this book. My theory is that because of all the years that we humanity have dumped toxic waste into the oceans and pollution, that basically Mother Nature genetically altered the entire sea. All the coral in Earth's like seabed to basically genetically alter it to the point that it pretty much, yeah, it wiped out humanity. Or rather, it genetically altered them and a mass majority of the world died. And that these two that wash up on shore is, possibly a coincidence. Is it a coincidence or is Mother Nature evolving humanity like forced evolution? I know that's a little bit of a far grasp, but the book kind of gives me an idea that that might possibly be like what the book's going to be about. Either which way, I'm excited. Either which way, I'm excited to read it because it's got my interest peaked because okay, that's a hell of a story concept. 90% of Earth's population just goes into the sea and dissolves or dies or has forced evolution. What? But anyway, guys, that is the elements box for for Comic Bento. Um, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope it enticed you guys because certainly for me it enticed me. A lot of good books in this one. The next one after this, if this video doesn't get posted right away because I have such a huge backlog of videos, which probably may or may not be coming, or I'm in the process of getting done. Depending on, before, way before this or afterwards. But the next one after this, guys, is Rewriting History, which I like the title for that, and it gives me kind of an interesting idea of what books may possibly be in that box. So with that, guys, I'm going to switch gears. But first, I'm going to end this particular video. And then I'm going to switch gears to... Actually, I'll probably save the nerd block for last since that's the newest thing. So I'm going to switch gears, guys. And I'm going to lovingly put this in here. Which is the first time I've got that tote open, so you guys can probably like peer into there a little bit. But yeah, that's top tote where I put most of my comic bento related stuff in there. So with that, guys, I'm going to stop this vid, and the next one will be the Civil War box. So, hope you guys enjoyed the Elements box from Comic Bento, and I will see you guys in the next one.